We're back in. What's up with all you guys saying he could have fallen on the knife? Guys, he died after the fight and the strangling.
Are you being jokesters?
I think they may be being jokesters. I don't know.
Are you jokes?
All right, here we go. Ready? Objection! I'll press the button. Objection! This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by scarf.
Strangulation?
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? You would know if you had looked at the button I presented just earlier. Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it. You're gonna just yeah. Which would mean, it was brought up immediately after.
Yeah.
To say that I was a step ahead is just insanity to begin with, but the fact that he brings it up within 2 sentences, I was 2 sentences ahead? Which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when... You're being a dick too, Phoenix. After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means... I'm smarter than the player playing this game! It is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight!
No!
That's right, Miss Andrews. There was no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off by the victim's dead body! By the victim's dead body? I read that wrong. What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. He is particularly smug this trial. He has made that more times than he ever has in the past of this game. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time to effort to purposely rip this off the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it?
Mr. Wright, does this mean that you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button?
Oh, I can't do joke ones. I'm out of juice to do joke ones.
No.
But a juice joke.
Yeah.
To have a momentum
juice.
of the crime would have been hilarious. To pin the crime on en garde or to destroy evidence. It's not evidence because it's false evidence, so it has to be to pin. Here we go. To pin the crime on... He has to select it.
There you go.
Fuck me. There is no one logical reason for doing something like that.
Only
there is
one.
It was to pin the crime on Matt on guard. It's too hot today. There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. Unless you're into that. That's right. Mr. On Guard was set up by the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring the trial this way to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet.
Yeah,
Not
dude.
until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Ungard is...
Pearls!
Do we go this far right now?
Yeah, dude.
Wait, he's not in the profile.
Who do you think it is?
I was thinking to killer.
Oh, no.
I really don't think it's Adrian Andrews. Can't be Celeste Impacts.
She's dead.
Could it have been? It can't be Juan Corrida. That's Becky's theory.
I stand by it.
Are we really just gonna say her?
Totes.
All right.
So.
We've kind of already been saying it like multiple times. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
They're all
here we
pretty slow.
Adrian. Oh. I had to select it first. Adrian Andrews, take that.
It's so good. It's so good.
You done?
Yeah.
You're not done.
I'm
You're
done.
still doing it
I'm
in
done.
your head.
I'm done.
Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you! Wow! Wow! You are Mr. Corina's killer!
Bravo.
I'm not fresh dancing, not today. Christmas is canceled, assholes. No! No, I refuse. I would have fresh danced if you accepted the button. Yeah, Becky can fresh dance if she wants.
Too hard. Fuck that. I don't know
Way
how
too
you
much
ever do
energy.
it.
Yeah. Plus, I'm all sore from recumbent triking around.
Yeah.
All right.
Order! Mr. Wright! This is very grave matter. Do you have any evidence to support your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews.
How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me!
I can't, can I? Would you care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
I have to go back. I can't, can I? Care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
The knife was used to stab the victim after he'd already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion on Mr. Ungard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could have been taken from his room. And the only one who could have had dinner with him was you. And take the knife. Was that third set of glasses?
Yep. Then what? What about the button that was found in Matt's hakama?
This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who would have done so is the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Ungard was the real killer, there is no way he could have put such incriminating evidence in his own hakama! Wow. She is just blown through that money right now. She's
Yeah,
just
dude.
like spent $1,000 in glasses.
Oh, frig yeah.
Easy.
The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Ungard's hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see.
You finally.
What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. Ooh. Whoa. Just,
Yeah.
oops. Yeah, why not? I guess so. But, hello.
Pretty.
Yeah. 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 Exposed back is quite sexy on girls.
It totally is.
Certainly is.
All right. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just a costume inside the guitar case? It could have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Andrews.
Oh.
Oh.
She has a different voice for this. What was your voice for this?
No.
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of the tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic today's discoverer of the dead body. And to top it all off, there's this photograph. A photo of the killer that was exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this nickel samurai's Mr. On Guard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
Please, stop.
I'll never stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews? Blah!
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Yes, well, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
How does that work in the real world? Because I could just not testify something and just lie that it's going to
Eventually,
incriminate
you'll
me.
be held in contempt
How?
or something.
The only way they can hold me in contempt is to prove that I didn't not do something
Yeah,
to incriminate
I
myself.
think they would have to.
Yeah, I don't know.
How could they?
Or
How can
it's
you prove that
possible
someone
that
didn't not do something?
it's possible that you would have like some sort of conversation with the judge about why it would incriminate you somehow. I
If
don't
you
know.
refuse to testify, it means you also can't defend yourself.
In Phoenix Wright land, yeah, but that's
Someone else would prove it, I think. And if they do, then you can't defend yourself.
so that's the risk you take. But again, guys, what I'm saying here is, what if you had nothing to incriminate yourself, and you just didn't want to testify because you were protecting somebody, or maybe protecting yourself, whatever. The point is, in order for them to prove that you're in contempt of court, they'd have to go out and say, we've investigated their life and found that they have committed no crime, so they're in contempt. And you'd be like, you just didn't find the crime I did. Or something.
I don't know.
That's what I'm just saying, is that it's impossible to prove someone didn't do something. That's all I'm saying. All right.
And then,
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. On Guard's room, Adrian Andrews,
yes?
think hard about what I just discussed, understood?
All right.
That's it. That's when Francesca planted his idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews not to testify about things that look bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing that you haven't done. Something I haven't done? Ha ha ha.
Oh no.
What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer has proven up to this point is meaningless. But what? Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Uh-oh.
Circumstantial? You could actually say that about just about everything Phoenix ever proves.
Yeah.
Yes, circumstantial! You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof! Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida?
Oh, is this where we bring
Bravo.
the suicide note?
Yeah. I don't think I need proof, though. She just admitted, right here in court, that
Yeah,
she was
pretty
planning
much.
a press conference to ruin him. I don't care what the motive was. She admitted that she harbors a grudge. So it's proof. There you
Is
go.
Phoenix right? You have to continue.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corrida?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
Miss Andrews! If you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No! She's taking a defiant attitude again! Mamma mia, what should I do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
Doubt it.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, as the defense theory is that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof.
But that's not true.
In this situation, there is only one thing the court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
The recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter.
No!
Tomorrow's trial.
Fuck you! I mean, objection! Tomorrow? We don't have tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? We should have told Edgeworth.
Yeah, dude.
He would have helped us. He proved earlier that he has some heart, and
Yeah.
he totally would have been serious about this.
Yeah.
Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
Because they execute them directly after the trial.
In the courtroom. Bailiff just comes in. That's not it! This isn't about that! Edgeworth! I know you know who the real killer is! Please, let the trial continue.
Please, let
Oh.
the trial continue.
That's your Phoenix voice?
Yep.
Okay. You don't know the intricacies and the minutia that I have to. Minutia? Fuck me. Please let the trial continue. Told you it's too hot today. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya.
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
It's not impossible for the trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth? What are you...
It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic is of conversation with something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there's one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and
I can't help but think how unnatural that is. We covered that. It was so that she could seem like the dazed person who came into the crime. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring glasses of juice.
so my actions were unusual, but I've already...
Before you speak, I want you to state that you have a reason, that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony shall in no way implicate the witness. She could just lie and say, no, it will. You don't know what I did, and it had something to do with that.
We'll see.
I had sex with the corpse.
No, she did.
So the more I testify about what happened in that room, necrophilia is illegal.
In
Corpse.
most states.
Penetration. Yeah, it's a victimless crime.
Oh, God.
No, seriously,
really
though.
is.
It really is.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it's not because of the family.
Yeah, the family that finds out about it might be a little...
You should watch Louis C.K.'s new stand-up. He does a bit about it.
Does
Oh,
he?
Yeah.
God.
I'm ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
See, I'm writing Louis C.K.'s shit before I even see it. I am the greatest comedian.
Oh.